The FP3 and the qualifying analysis of the Hungarian Grand Prix. First, to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the Hungarian track, the Hungary track, that's the Hungarian. Lewis Hamilton and some of the legends in the sport had been honored with their names on the track. We have, they call it legend and drivers corner, while we have also local and geographical corner. So some part of the track was named after some of the locals, while some after the legends, which are the drivers. Turn 1, Nelson Piquet. It was named after him because he won the first two races on that track, that's 1986 and 1987. Then Lewis Hamilton, the track has been named after him because he's the most successful driver on that track. 8 wins, 9 poles on that track. Turn 4. I jumped turn 3 because it's named after the geographical locale of that track. So turn 4, Nigel Mansell, who won the 1989 race and clinched his 1992 title right on that track. Then we move to turn 11, Jean Alesi. Alesi was made after being dubbed by fans following his practice crash in 1995. Turn 11 was named after Alesi because the fans celebrated him because of his crash in 1995 on that track. Turn 12 was named after Michael Schumacher, honoring Michael Schumacher's 4 wins and 2001 title on that track. Then we have Ayrton Senna, the legend, the Brazilian legend. Turn 13 was named after Ayrton Senna, honoring the legendary Brazilian as the first pole sitter on that track. Then turn 14, that's the last one on the track, was named after Ferenc Stis. That's the Hungarian driver who won the very first Grand Prix in 1906. Then we go to turn 3. His name Spring, honoring the local valley of the 3 springs. Then turn 5, Mogyorov, named after the municipality where the track resides. Mogyorov is the municipality where the track resides. I've made a video about it in one of my videos, I think 2 years ago or thereabouts, so you can go and watch the video to know about that municipality in Hungary. Driving center turn 6 and 7 is named after the adjacent driver training facility on that track. So turn 6 and 7, driving center. Turn 8 and 9, Buda/Pest, celebrating the capital city splitted by the river. Turn 10, Danube, named after the iconic river flowing through Budapest. That's the nomenclature of the Hungarian track in Budapest. What did we see in FP3 was interesting because we had another driver topping the time sheets. It's a funny one. Lando Norris was able to come up and give a good performance today. Like I said yesterday, Mercedes, you can't count them out. Today, we saw Kimi Antonelli just it's a tenth away from Lando Norris, and Lando Norris was able to run into the 1 minute 17th, early 17th, while others were in 1 minute 18th, late 18th, and Hamilton second, Antonelli, Leclerc, Piastri, Russell, then Verstappen, Ajax. What did we learn from this? The McLaren had improved their car over the night with data. We don't know the fuel level or the fuel trim anybody is running, but it seems the McLaren had beefed up their plan and their strategy, so they are looking good. Well, it's not a bad one for Ferrari. They are still looking like a team for the pole and for the win, but serious concerns they would have certainly from McLaren and from Mercedes also, because the Mercedes are not far off. Antonelli is not far off. It's almost the same time with Lewis Hamilton. It's not far off. Charles Leclerc is not far off, and Piastri is not far off. I will only say George Russell down a little bit far off. George Russell, Verstappen, and Aja, but that can change in qualifying. We're having a 4-horse race already, because it's going to be very interesting to see how they are able to pull out during the qualifying, and that will also be one thing that we'll talk about the race. And like I said, the McLaren and the Ferrari and also the Red Bulls are looking quite pacey on their race pace. They are looking fast. It might not be a wash-off or a write-off, so it's going to be very interesting to see how they are able to perform during the qualifying, which will be the most important part of this day. So tomorrow for the race, it's going to be interesting to see what the race will look like. But qualifying, I think I'll be saying Lewis on pole. I'm saying Lewis on pole because he's at 9 and he's going to have 10. If he does this, he'll have 10 and break a new record. It's because he looks very strong on that track, even all through the practices. So it won't surprise us to see Lewis. We catch during the qualifying. Hello guys. So a big congratulations to McLaren and Lando Norris. The first pole for them this season, what a quali it was. Up until the end of the qualifying, you cannot know who will take pole position. And like I said, between Ferrari and McLaren, and so it was. Lewis Hamilton was on the cusp of taking the pole, but by 0.012 seconds, a hundred. PM, he lost it to Lando Norris. What a qualifying it was, and all the drivers showed their strength. We saw that Aston Martin has really improved. They've really improved. Alonso, for the first time this season, getting into Q2. What a qualifying it was for him. Stroll had issues with the suspension yesterday. Qualifying was not a good one for him today. The two Cadillacs, great improvement. I think Cadillac are looking like a team that are looking better than Williams. But what do I know? Oliver Bierman had a bad qualifying today. But the funny thing, when you look at the Cadillac progression in Williams, you would say Williams, no upgrades, but Cadillac has been improving their car. They've had problems. Even in FP3 today, Sergio Perez had issues with his brakes, brake overheating. It's a new game for them. They are struggling to get into it, to know a lot about F1, but it will take them time, I think, but they would certainly get out of it in no time. The time that it will take them and the time that it won't take them will not be kind to them, I think. It's not going to be kind to them. They will struggle through it, but hope they can come out of it. But funny enough, the qualifying was not something we expect. Great one from Max Verstappen, although on the last lap he spun, causing a yellow flag. He was pushing the car, and that is one thing about Max Verstappen. He pushes the car to the limit. He's not going to drop it. He pushes to that limit, makes sure that he drags the car out. And great one for him. Great qualifying for him. Although it was not close to the top three, but great one for him. The two Ferraris, 2 and 3, Antonelli 4, Max Verstappen, great one like I said. George Russell still struggling, and he was really out of the qualifying for me on the second run. He didn't really put enough drive into it. Before the end of the drive towards the corner, that's the turn 14 corner, he was already slowing down, adjusting on the steering, and by turn 1 he had to stop. We don't know what is wrong with his car yet, but his teammate came from nowhere this weekend and had a good 4th for qualifying, which is a great one. And I think Antonelli, the young boy, is doing a great job. For the teams presently, is it a turnaround for McLaren? Because Mercedes are looking at, they are on the back foot. Probably the aerodynamics is not compensating what they have in power, but they've been able to sludge out the last 10 races of the season, making sure their drivers have won the chunk of it, the best of it. Getting into the second part of the season, I think, is going to be up and down, but any team that tries to get on top should just push themselves through to the end. Else, it's just a dash for Mercedes. But we can see that other teams, McLaren, Ferrari, are doing a good job to catch up, which will put Mercedes on their toes to know that they are not just leaving it till next year. There's still a lot to do this year. It's going to be a bang for them, but let's see how it is. The race pace is going to be dicey, so there will be opportunities for overtaking, but will the Ferrari be able to do a good job on jumping or overtaking the McLaren on track? The McLaren are very good in race pace. It's going to be a very tight battle tomorrow. I feel it's going to be a battle of strategy to win the race. Strategy. Ferrari have saved, especially for Lewis Hamilton, he saved one new soft tires. They went out on medium tires in their Q1. They have one new medium tires, probably one hard tire into the race. It's going to be a very dicey one. Hard tire, medium tire, soft tire, 2-stop, and the track very abrasive. The track also looking like a track that is wearing off, especially on the parts that have been resurfaced. It's not looking good on those parts of the track that has been resurfaced. I think it's going to be a bang or a touch and go. We need to see how the teams would put themselves tomorrow to see how the race is going to be. But certainly I think it's still always between McLaren and Ferrari, don't doubt it. Mercedes will look fast in the race, but I think it's going to be who gives more. And from what we can see, McLaren have more. So it's going to be a huge one. How will they be able to turn their season around? Well, probably is a turnaround for them already. But great one for Lindblad, good qualifying for him, and for Nico Hulkenberg. Started 7th in Hungary last season. Now he's having a good starting position also, getting into Q3. Probably his first point of the season, hopefully. So it's not going to be a real big bang for them, but I think it's going to be a very interesting race to see how they'll be able to get off the track, gain position, hold position, and manage the race till they are probably able to overtake through the pit lane. Undercut will be fun, will be nice, but who will win the race? Up until tomorrow, after the main race, we analyze it. I love you guys. Bye. Cheers.